welcome back to Dream Garage. I want to first apologize. It has been over a month since we have done a video. Last video we did was the Lamborghini contest. Obviously, if you've watched those videos or follow VinWiki, that was something that we did not win. Very disappointed in the outcome. However, we are moving forward. We've been going through all the holidays and rush of getting together with families and friends and things. So do apologize for not having any videos between then and now, but we are back again with a really cool reveal video today and review video, however, and this is one of the perks of our dealership for Mike and I, because we get to look at some cool cars that come through our store. So we're a new Chevy dealership. However, we get in used of a lot of different brands, especially with being a high volume Corvette dealer with the Tahoes and Suburbans and different vehicles that they've really amped up those, which has allowed us to get some cool things in as well, either on trade or we have access because we're corporate to get other brands. And in looting that, this is actually our third one that we've had, and we were going to do a review video on a blue one that we had. However, it sold the same day we got clearance to do so. So without further ado, I am standing in front of a very, very impressive Ram TRX truck. Now, there's been a lot of review videos out on these trucks already based on the fact they've been out for a little while. However, since I haven't bought one personally, I wanted to get one done once we had one in stock that I was available to do so, and this one has popped up, and thankfully our store has supported us through this and allowed us to do so. So this is a 2021 Ram TRX. It currently has 1,500 miles on it, and I can tell you, I haven't sat in one before tonight. I haven't drove one. I haven't done any of those things. I try to, when I do review videos, especially on a vehicle that we haven't shown on the channel, it's really an advantage, I think, for me to have a good opinion based on the fact that I've never actually ridden one, drove one. So everything that I'm going to be talking about, you guys are going to see as well, first time. So first glance of these TRXs is very impressive to me. The truck is very wide. So it does have wide fenders on it. It has a certain style of shocks. The engine is a 6.2 liter supercharged Hellcat motor. 702 horsepower is the horsepower on this truck. 650 foot-pounds of torque. So it is very similar to, like, for us, my Z06 is 670 with the exhaust, 650 foot-pounds of torque. This is 702 horsepower. Now it weighs a lot more, but for a truck, it's very impressive. And for me, this is something that I think that, again, with like Ford has their Lightning and Shelby truck, and GM just unfortunately does not have something of this line. So it is really cool to see a truck with this kind of power. So you will see, we did some pictures for you. The inside is very, very impressive. The screen is, I mean, it's like 11 or 10 inches tall, right?
10 inches.
10 inches tall. It's a big control center. You're going to see that here in a few minutes. The interior is actually really, really impressive. It has a black, this one in particular has black and red. Black on top. It actually has like a cloth inserts with leather excerpts, red on the outside. Steering wheel has a flat bottom. It's a really impressive truck. Now, when you're looking at a $100,000 car, a couple little tedious things that I guess was Mike and I were walking around this truck a few minutes ago that we said, man, if this was a $100,000, this being a $100,000 car, should have things like power passenger seat. Now, this might be an option, but on this truck in particular, it does not have that. No, all the comforts and conveniences are on the driver's side. However, that is something that we are so used to now with having power passenger seats. It's not a huge deal, but it's just a little convenience feature that we're like, yeah, you would think that would have that. Another thing that we had found in there was, what did you say, heated rear seats? Didn't have that, right?
Well, at least from the back buttons. It might be in the actual console.
Which it might be in center stack. But what was the one that you
Heads-up display.
Heads-up display, which it is an option on the TRX. However, this one in particular does not have that. So they do have some options that you can do on that. There are only 875 of these trucks built. So that does make this truck very, very rare. So I think they were doing it as we're going to run this once, and then they might do it again in the future. But to date, this is the most expensive Ram truck that they've built, especially in a half ton, and very, very expensive in general. So really cool to that area. And so let's go ahead and get inside so we can actually take a look at it. So we are inside the TRX. We are about to take it for a drive, which I am excited about because this has got to have this power. I think it seems from every video I've seen that it's hooked up really well. So I'm excited to be able to test this out a little bit. But looking inside, like I said, the screen's really, really impressive as far as the size of it. You know, being from GM, the screens now on the brand new ones, they are getting bigger. The Escalades have gotten a lot bigger, but the ones that I've personally been in or what have you, they're still like the 7 or 8 inch screens, where these, I mean, being 10 inches tall, not full inch diameter, it's pretty cool. So it has launch control. You actually do that at 4,500 RPMs, which is awesome. There's a ton of different modes, different mode settings you can do. The 4-wheel drive and everything is right there. So you have like Baja mode, you have mud and sand, just turns the traction control off, rock, Baja, sport mode, tow mode. So, you know, obviously tow mode's integrated with that, snow, and then regular. So we're gonna leave it in regular. We're not gonna go hot rodding this thing, but I wanted to at least get it down the road a little bit to see how it feels. Really impressed with the coloring of the interior. They did have different options, obviously, but some things missing that I think definitely would be really cool to have, and would put it over the top. Like, you know, it doesn't have heated seats, doesn't have power passenger seat, things like that are minuscule when it comes to what this truck is about. But you know, overall pretty cool interior. So I'm gonna put this in drive. We're gonna go for a ride here and see what we think. But the steering wheel is very, very comfortable. It does have like ventilated steering wheel when it comes to the little holes in there. Has a really good sound for stock exhaust. Was very impressed with that. Make sure I'm careful getting out of here. So when you're outside of the truck, sounds really good on the backside. Inside, it's still very, very quiet. A lot of the vehicles that I've been in have really loud exhaust. They are loud inside the cabin as well. They have done a lot better about sound deadening and how they produce the sound inside versus outside. So even though it's a really good sound outside the truck, on the inside you can still have a full-on conversation without having to yell to talk to the person next to you. All right, so let's get out here and see what we got. Does have a good rumble for sure. Now we do have a lot of cool things coming to the channel, so be sure to stay tuned. If you guys, the people that have been watching these videos from the jump, from all of us here at Dream Garage, I want to thank you. It's your support that allows us to continue to grow and continue to do what we love and have fun with this. So very appreciative of that. Won't disclose any more details yet, but we are going to have some cool things coming soon. And we do have the second Motor Madness is going to happen, and really excited about that. So stay tuned for those details. We are growing that for sure. So all right, let's give this thing a little bit. Very impressive get up and go. It wasn't power that you felt like you couldn't control. Very impressed with it. Was controlled power. Some cars you get in and take off and you feel like you can't hold on to it. My Z06, the first time I drove that, was that way. And but this is, you know, I was about 50 to 75% throttle. You still felt like you were giving it some go, and you know, it feels really good. Of course, I did a review video on a Trackhawk, so if you haven't seen that, go check that out. And this is the same motor, so I now am a little familiar with the motor and how it performs, but very, very nice, comfortable ride, being a long wheelbase, being wide. The truck drives really well, feels really good inside. But yeah, this is really nice. You can really hear that supercharger whine and when you take off. So that's really cool sound when you're sitting in a truck, especially a performance truck like this, where it's so versatile. It's not just a performance truck. It is also off-road. It is also tow. It is also snow. There's so many capabilities with the TRX, which is why I think that it's one of the best options right now when it comes to getting this kind of power with the versatility that it has. Really, really cool truck, but it just sounds so good. If you have not checked out one of these and you have one in your area, I would thoroughly encourage you to do so. Pretty impressive overall, I think. Mike, what do you think?
As far as the horsepower goes, and honestly, with me having sold plenty of trucks with aggressive tires and actually a pretty good lift, this is actually really quiet.
Yes.
Most trucks with this much, I would say, lift, and as far as that, you know, anger aggressive tire, you have a lot of road noise. I mean, there's no way past that. A lot of your Silverados, especially your LT Trail Boss, with the big tires and that 2-inch additional factory lift for the Trail Boss kit, you know, you're in a truck that sounds like you're in a tin can occasionally. So, but this, I mean, it's relatively quiet. Like Brock mentioned, I mean, the only thing that personally on a $100,000 truck I would like to have heated seats, power passenger, and heads-up display. On the two other TRXs that we have actually had in the past, the blue ones essentially, those didn't have side steps, nor did they have bed liner. This one actually comes with steps, but unfortunately it does not come with bed liner. So I'm going to assume that bed liner is not a standard feature on the TRX. So, but yeah, overall, as far as the truck goes, I like the performance, I like the power, especially the Hellcat engine. That's actually the appeal of the truck overall. I think that's what gives it its dynamic, I guess, appeal to its customer base. But I mean, as far as a truck goes, there's really no other truck in the market that actually has this type of horsepower and this type of versatility with it. So
yeah, I would agree with that 100%. And Mike made a really good point. And you know, when you're looking at, especially when you got a family, you got kids or whatever, and I kind of alluded to this when we talked about the Trackhawk, is, you know, you're looking for something that can handle you as a family, not just you as a car enthusiast or truck enthusiast. And so for most of us, having an SUV or a truck is very, very important because it is versatile with your family. If you need to tow anything, it's got capabilities for that. If you need to go, you know, you want to go off-road and, you know, you go on a farm or something. We're in Indiana, so I mean, we're already have between 4 and 6 months of winter time. So for us, SUVs and trucks are actually a really big deal from that standpoint, because you can use them 12 months out of the year, whereas like the Corvette and supercars, unless you want to put snow tires and things like that, you're really only driving that car for so many months out of the year. So you know, when you put that in perspective, especially with that kind of, you know, having 4 doors, having, you know, there's a ton of room in the back. I sat behind where Mike's sitting, and I said, there's no way that back seat will ever touch my legs. And I'm a pretty big guy, so it was pretty impressive, the amount of size and comfort that this truck offers. So, you know, when you're looking and you have a budget like this and you're looking for something that gives you the power, but gives you the towing capacity and gives you the off-road capability and family capability, it really doesn't get any better than this. So, you know, I would say, you know, looking for a truck with this kind of performance, you're really at a point where It doesn't get much, there's not many options out there to start with, and I think, you know, this is definitely should be the top pick in my opinion at that point, for a truck of this caliber and what it offers. So very expensive. $100,000 is not cheap by any means, but you know, it can last you a long time, or if you're somebody like myself who trades a lot, it definitely is something that you can know that you got a rare truck too. I mean, a lot of trucks aren't considered rare, and this one definitely is. So I'm gonna turn right here and go around. I went the wrong way. We got a lot of construction right now based off of where we're at in the Indy area, and so I have to do some winding around here to get back on the road where we need to go. But like I said, very impressed.
Just keep going straight, just go down Cumberland.
Go straight and turn
yeah,
left.
because you can't turn right up here.
Gotcha. If I was to rate this truck, Mike, what would you rate this truck out of 10? 1 out of 10. I mean, where would you put the TRX, understanding what it does?
That's actually a good question. I would honestly split into two different scores. As far as a truck goes, as far as a standard 1500, most 1500s are at this point daily drivers for a lot of people. They're not actually used for as a truck, not like, you know, trucks back in like the 90s and some like that. Mm-hmm. So I mean, from a truck standpoint, I mean, I'm gonna be real. I mean, it's about a 6 out of 6 out of 10. But as far as that aggressive style, if you're wanting something for the horsepower, for the get up, for the looks, I mean, don't get me wrong, with all the amenities that it doesn't have, like heated seats and heads-up display, this is still a sexy truck. I mean, the interior is sexy, the red, the spacious nature of it, and you gotta love that big screen. I mean, it's really the only screen like that currently in any truck. Ram, F-150, Silverado, GMC Sierra, you know, there's nothing like it as far as that capability. So, and that appeals to a large margin as far as your younger demographic that likes that type of tech perspective. So from a tech, from a sport, I would say from a youth perspective, as far as the engagement that this truck would bring, I would honestly give it a 9 out of 10. I mean, that's just my perspective on it, because I mean, your average buyer is not going to use this for a truck. They're going to use this as a showpiece, as something to show their friends, hey man, I got a Hellcat engine in this truck. What do you have? It ain't going to be a Hellcat engine. Right. So, I mean, as far as that perspective, I would probably give it a 9 out of 10. I don't know.
I'm with you on that. I think so. And again, you know, and we've, the last couple videos we've done, we've started rating. I mean, it's not from a perspective, because obviously it's our own personal opinions and everybody's going to have their own. But, you know, we base the price of a vehicle and then what it comes with. And, you know, I'm with Mike. The only disappointments to me are the really little things. It's not the power. I think that the interior, they did a phenomenal job with. The stance, the look of this truck, I mean, all of that stuff, it's very good. So I have no complaints with that. And honestly, the way I look at it is, you know, I'm with him. It's in the 9s for me. And the only reason it's not a 10 for me is the fact that it doesn't have those small little things that to some people's going to be nothing. They're going to be like, why would you care about that? But, you know, you just compare it and look at it from a standpoint of, if you're going to spend that kind of money, those are just little touches that you just want to have. However, like I said, I know the heads-up display is optional. I would assume they would have optional heated seats. So obviously we're basing this rating on this particular model, this particular build. Like I said, but you know, everybody that's reviewed this truck has been very highly of it. Ram hit it out of the park. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. They hit it out of the park versus, like I said, for a truck, there's really not much more you can ask for without doing a bunch of customizations. I mean, you can make any truck 700 horsepower if you really wanted to. You just have to put a ton of money into it, and it's not from the factory. Some builds can be better that way, but you know, when you're buying a vehicle that's stock, you want it to be from the factory, built power that you can rely on. And so, you know, I look at this as a really, really cool truck. You know, it was funny, one of our other guys at the store said, "Are you gonna buy it?" And I'm like, "I don't think so." I said, you know, it's not really I mean, it's cool, it's definitely cool, but you know, for me, I'm used to having heated steering wheel and cooled seats and different things, and I don't know that I'd be willing to give those up, and it's a lot more money than what my vehicle is currently, so there's definitely those things as well. So but we're gonna give it one last go here before we're back to the dealership. There's just something about a supercharger. I mean, you know, naturally aspirated is cool, and turbos are cool. They all have their own kind of whine and spooling up and things like that. But you know, a supercharged motor, there's just something I love about it. It just, when it gives it that power, it's just fun and exciting to feel. So, well, yeah, I mean, I think that's going to wrap it up for the TRX review video. Again, I do apologize that it's been a little while, but we are meeting together here soon to kind of figure out what our plan is for 2022. Also wanted to give you an update on those things, as well as doing this truck review. So I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Please stay safe with COVID. That is still very thick in our lives right now. Be safe when you're traveling, and we've got some cool videos coming, and we've got a big 2022 plan. So stick with us, and we will see you guys in the next one.